Every generation has its monsters and psychopaths, but only a few of them actually go on to become certified horror legends, the kind of villains that crawl right out of the screen and into pop culture for years to come. And it's not just about having a high body count either. It's about presence, personality, and the kind of terror that lingers long after the lights come back on. So in honor of the icons who made us scream, laugh, and check the closet before going to bed, let's count down the top 10 best horror movie villains of all time. Taking the number 10 spot is the man who treats suffering like fine art, Pinhead. And what's interesting about this guy is that he doesn't need to chase you around with a chainsaw or a kitchen knife to get the job done. He just politely opens up a gateway to hell and lets your poor decisions do all the rest. Another unique aspect about this character is that he's one of the only horror villains we have who's part of a larger team. I mean, all of those Cenobites get together and they look like they're a boy band that just got done playing a show in the underworld. But he's got that eerie calmness to him that's both unsettling and kind of intriguing, like he's some sort of a college professor teaching you about eternal torment. There's no denying this man's commitment to the lifestyle though. Just look at his aesthetic with the leather, hooks, and all. Pinhead proves that sometimes you can just let your victims do the legwork for you. At number 9, we've got Leatherface, the one guy on the planet who probably likes power tools more than your own father. This character is such a memorable figure in the horror space because he's messy, he's unpredictable, and he's probably the worst dinner host in all of cinematic history. What makes him really terrifying is that he's not some kind of supernatural ghost or demon, he's just an unhinged maniac, and the cherry on top is that he wears a mask made up of other people's faces. What a charming little detail. The mix of realism and madness makes it so that every encounter with him feels like something you shouldn't be watching, but also can't look away from at the same time. And sure, he doesn't form too many coherent sentences along the way, but when you've got a chainsaw roaring in your ears 24/7, you probably give up on being too much of a conversationalist. He's truly a rural American nightmare. Claiming the number 8 spot is the one person you never want to see at game night, Jigsaw, horror's most extreme new age therapist. Now, he doesn't technically kill people, he just gives them options. Terrible, limb-severing, and life-altering options, but options all the same. What makes him stand out, though, is the twisted sense of morality behind doing what he does. He really believes he's teaching his victims that their actions have consequences and that they should value their lives. If you ask him, he'd say that he subscribes to the philosophy of tough love. It's gruesome, it's psychological, and it's the best advertisement for buying a tricycle that I've ever seen in my entire life. Jigsaw's that type of villain that both disgusts you and you sort of want to peel back the curtain to learn more about, which makes him all the more interesting. And anyone who doubles down on how creepy puppets are is going to get some appreciation out of me. At number 7, we're going with the swollest big game hunter in the galaxy, the Predator. This thing doesn't just track you down, it studies you like you're a lab rat in a sick little science project before turning you into a worthwhile trophy he can put on his mantle. Armed with heat vision, invisibility, and more gadgets than Batman and James Bond combined, it's every soldier's worst nightmare. What adds some cool extra layers to this calculated killer is the sense of honor and code of ethics it seems to have. It doesn't even bother killing the weak or the unarmed. It wants to go toe-to-toe with the best of them that'll really get his blood pumping and pose an actual threat. What a hardo. It's resourceful, it's scrappy, and most of all, it's got a face only a mother could love. All the landmark traits of a killer you really don't want hot on your heels. Coming in at number 6 is Ghostface, the only killer who's gonna hit you with a pop quiz before stabbing you to death. What's unique about this character is that he's not just one person, he's whoever happens to be under the mask this time, and that's honestly what makes the idea of him so entertaining. Every new Scream movie feels like a little bit of a murder mystery mixed with a greatest hits slasher highlight reel. The phone calls, the voice changer, the sarcastic self-awareness. This character is basically the embodiment of the horror genre, literally sticking a mirror in front of itself. Sure, there's nothing too fancy about his weapon of choice or his costume, which in some ways is kind of the point and adds to the paranoia that it could be anyone, but you'd be hard-pressed to even think about the horror genre without that classic mask popping into your head. He's brutal, he's clumsy, and he's somehow still entertaining every single time. Number 5 goes to everybody's favorite pint-sized killer, Chucky. Now, if Annabelle's the type of creepy doll that sits quietly in a corner, Chucky's the one that makes you wish you brought a muzzle to the party. He's hilarious, foul-mouthed, and way more creative than the vast majority of the killers, who are over 2 times his height. That's really the beauty of him when you break it down, though. He's equal parts funny and deranged, which makes watching him weirdly addictive. Like as if getting bested by a kid's toy isn't bad enough, this little jackass is shit-talking you during the entire ordeal. He's truly a generational hater. He's survived decapitations, explosions, and even being melted down, and continues to come back for more time and time again. That's determination for you people. Chucky's proof that big scares have a knack for coming in small plastic packages every once in a while. Taking the number 4 spot is the most efficient killing machine ever designed, the Xenomorph. And everything about this creature is a total death sentence from head to toe. The claws, the teeth, the acid blood. I mean, you can't even let your guard down when one of these things is a baby. One of the most unique aspects about this beast is that it's not actually even really evil by nature. It's biology at its absolutely most brutal. And that's kind of what makes it such a formidable opponent. There's no reasoning, no motive, just survival. In a lot of ways, it feels like you're being sniffed out by something that has the intellect of a human but the physicality of a Komodo dragon. Not exactly the type of combo I'm eager to go up against anytime soon, if I'm being honest. The claustrophobic setting of space being its own personal playground only amplifies its terror more because no one is even remotely nearby to rescue you. It's the genre's deadliest creature, perfectly mixing together a spicy cocktail of science and savagery. Number 3 is the poster boy for mommy issues himself, Jason Voorhees. And I mean, the guy went from being a bullied little kid at summer camp to the walking embodiment of vengeance. Pretty impressive transformation when you think about it. He doesn't sprint, he doesn't talk, he just somehow casually teleports to the exact location that you're already hiding. This hulking brute has been resurrected, blown up, even went into outer space, and still came back swinging that old machete like it's nobody's business. His signature hockey mask alone is one of the most recognizable images in movie history and has become so synonymous with the horror genre, but Jason's really not interested in logic or conversation. He's only here to remind us that if you wander into his campground on Friday the 13th, you're probably going to become a statistic. At number 2, who gives nightmares a whole new meaning, is Freddy Krueger. Never have we encountered a killer as funny, sadistic, and completely unfiltered as this man right here. The genius of Freddy is that he hangs out in the one place where you're not able to escape him. You literally have to sleep at some point. So whether you like it or not, you're paying him a visit if you're unlucky enough to be on his radar. There's also an addicting quality to watching him work, since we get multiple perspectives of what's happening to his victims, both in his world when he's slicing them up, and how anyone unaffected by Freddy's grasp sees their murder unfolding. If the vast majority of horror villains prefer to stalk their prey in silence, then Freddy Krueger is the exception. He's making a big show out of everything and wants there to be no doubt in your mind that he's coming for you. In a world full of sickos, he's probably the cream of the crop. And finally, taking the number 1 spot is evil on 2 legs, Michael Myers. And what can you even say about the boogeyman himself? This guy is pretty much evil distilled into its purest form. He doesn't speak, he doesn't think, he just is. The 3 certainties in life are death, taxes, and Michael Myers, because he's been shot, stabbed, burned, blown up, and still walks it off like it's just another Tuesday night. There's just no stopping this dude. And that blank white mask paired with his slow, steady walk has been terrifying small town residents for almost half a century now. Trying to figure out what's going on inside that messed up head of his has been fascinating since the beginning, because he's like a little kid seeing stuff for the first time, but in the adult body of a deranged serial killer. Time and time again, Michael Myers has solidified himself as the blueprint for the modern slasher and is the best horror villain we've ever gotten. So there you have it, guys, my ranking of the top 10 best horror movie villains of all time. From possessed dolls to unstable lunatics, these are the staples of the genre that keep us up at night, but also coming back for more. Now, I want to hear from you, though. Who has what it takes to make your top 10? Did I miss someone who you think definitely deserves a spot on this list? Let me know in the comments below, and if you love horror rankings, movie reviews, and everything else in between, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys at the next one.